Long ago, before cities raised their concrete towers and roads cut through the land like artificial veins, the world was a primordial chaos of brute forces and colossal shadows. Imagine a planet where ice devoured entire continents, where volcanoes spewed fire into the skies and oceans swallowed coastlines without mercy. It was an era of forgotten giants, creatures that shaped the destiny of our ancestors with their imposing presences and mysterious disappearances. Have you ever stopped to think what it would be like to survive in a place where every shadow could hide a predator larger than a house, or where peaceful herbivores trampled entire forests? Get ready to dive into this wild world where evolution danced on a knife's edge and discover how these lost titans forged the path for the humanity we know today. Let's start in Africa, the cradle of life, where the scorching sun beat down on endless savannas dotted with solitary acacias and lazy rivers. There, among the whispering grasses in the wind, roamed the Pelorovis, an ancestral buffalo that seemed straight out of a fever dream. It wasn't just an animal. It was a living monument to nature's brute strength. Its horns curved like full moon arches, extending over 2 meters from tip to tip, capable of piercing the air with a presence that intimidated even the boldest lions. With shoulders reaching nearly 2 meters high and a weight exceeding a ton, the Pelorovis grazed in herds that made the earth tremble, as if the ground were alive under their hooves. It descended from ancient lineages, a link between primitive bovines and those we see today, living for millions of years on a continent pulsing with violent climate changes. Fossils found in remote valleys tell stories of how these giants coexisted with the first hominids, who hunted them with sharpened stone spears, risking their lives for meat that would sustain entire clans. Paintings in caves, blurred by time, depict these horns as symbols of power, perhaps even deities that the ancients revered in moonlit rituals. But what made the Pelorovis a forgotten giant was its resilience. It survived droughts that decimated forests and floods that reshaped rivers, only to vanish when the climate stabilized, leaving behind only bones that whisper secrets of an era where survival was a daily battle. Now, let's shift to South America, where dense forests intertwined with winding rivers and plains that seemed infinite under the tropical sky. Here, the Macrauchenia reigned as a living chimera, an improbable mix of forms that defied easy classification. Its body resembled that of a robust camel, but with a stretched neck like a curious giraffe, and at the top of its head, a nasal structure projecting like a primitive trunk, perfect for sniffing the humid air or gathering leaves from tall bushes. Weighing up to a ton and measuring 3 meters in length, it trotted with unexpected grace, its legs ending in 3 toes that stepped softly on the moist earth. Belonging to an extinct group called Litopterns, the Macrauchenia evolved in isolation on the South American continent, far from the influences of the rest of the world, becoming an enigma for paleontologists. Recent genetic studies, extracted from fossils frozen in Patagonia, revealed that it was closer to horses and rhinoceroses than imagined, a surprise that rewrites evolution books. Our ancestors, migrating southward, must have encountered these creatures, perhaps hunting them for their tender meat or using their hides as shelter against torrential rains. But imagine the awe, a beast that seemed assembled by capricious gods, wandering prairies where the wind carried echoes of past extinctions. Its flexible trunk wasn't just a tool. It was a genius adaptation for a constantly changing world, allowing it to regulate heat or detect predators from afar. However, when land bridges closed and isolation became a prison, The Macrauchenia faded, leaving only fossils that make us question, what if it had survived? Turning our eyes to North America, where arid deserts stretch like mantles of sand under unforgiving skies, we find the Nothrotheriops, a ground sloth that defied all expectations. Unlike the lazy sloths that hang in trees today, this was a giant of the soil with a robust body that reached 2 meters tall when upright on its hind legs, weighing hundreds of kilograms. Its front limbs, armed with curved claws, dug into the dry ground in search of cacti and agaves, a diet that made it a specialist in surviving where water was a rare luxury. Fossils of its feces, preserved in caves like those of the Grand Canyon, reveal a feast of thorny plants dated to just 11,000 years ago, close enough for our ancestors to see them as slow shadows on the horizon. They probably hunted them, using traps or fire to corner these slow colossuses whose thick tail served as support to reach high foliage. The Nothrotheriops was a survivor of the Ice Age, adapted to dry climates that would kill smaller herbivores, but its slowness became a weakness when humans arrived with spears and strategies. Think of the irony, a creature that seemed eternal, moving like time itself, erased by a new and restless species. Its coprolites, full of intact seeds, show how it helped spread life in the desert, a forgotten giant that fertilized the soil for the future. In Asia, the dense and humid tropical forests sheltered the Gigantopithecus, a colossal primate that made modern gorillas seem like dwarfs. Rising to 3 meters tall and weighing half a ton, it wandered through endless bamboo groves, its powerful jaw crushing tough roots and fruits as if they were nothing. Fossils of teeth and jaws found in China and Vietnam paint a portrait of a hairy and silent being, the largest ape that ever existed, living up to 300,000 years ago. It inspired legends like the Yeti, with its mythical presence echoing in the myths of ancient peoples. Our ancestors, the Homo erectus, must have crossed paths with it, perhaps competing for resources or fleeing its brute strength. Imagine the terror. A hairy giant emerging from the mist, intelligent eyes staring at the intruders. Its herbivorous diet made it peaceful, but its size made it king of the shadows. However, climate changes dried the forests, and the Gigantopithecus disappeared, leaving only fragments that make us dream of lost worlds. In Madagascar, isolated like a world apart, the Varombe titan loomed like a feathered titan, the largest bird that ever walked the earth. With 3 meters in height and nearly a ton, its trunk-like legs supported an oval body covered in dense feathers, grazing leaves and fruits in tropical forests. Without predators, it evolved into gigantism, a slow herbivore that vibrated the earth with each step. Humans arriving on the island hunted it for giant eggs and meat, sealing its end just millennia ago. Think of the reverence, a bird that seemed like a walking god, now just bones in museums. In Europe, the Homo therium, the sleek, saber-toothed cat, hunted in quick ambushes, its curved fangs slicing like blades. Weighing up to 300 kilos, it spread across continents, interacting with primitive humans around ancestral campfires. Its agility made it lethal, but the ice erased it. The Metridiocoerus, giant boar of East Africa with spiraled tusks, was a fierce omnivore coexisting with hominids. Its fossils in Olduvai show shared hunts. In Oceania, the Meolania, horned turtle weighing half a ton, defended itself with a spiny tail on Pacific islands, extinct due to human hunting. The Megalopteros, deer with 3.6-meter antlers, grazed in Eurasia, revered in cave paintings. The aurochs, ancestor of cattle, fierce and imposing, was hunted until domestication. The woolly rhinoceros, covered in fur, migrated through tundras, painted in caves as a spirit of the land. The Canis mosbacensis, ancestor of the wolf, hunted in packs, shaping canine companionship. The Panthera leofossilis, colossal lion of Europe, hunted solitary, ancestor of modern lions. The Elephas antiquus, elephant of temperate forests, coexisted with humans in rituals and hunts. And so, in this world of forgotten giants, the first Homo sapiens emerged, hunting, revering, and surviving. They shaped tools, lit fires, and dreamed of these titans who forged our resilience. But what do you think? Which of these giants intrigues you the most? Comment below, like if you learned something new, and subscribe for more journeys into the wild past.